This is a preview of Stardom American Dream 2024 in the Keystone State, which I will be attending. This is not a prediction because I've already made my predictions. Those are found in Red Belt Radio's 27th transmission. This is going to be a short estimation from me about three different things. The first is going to be who I think is going to be the MVP of Stardom American Dream. Who is going to really connect with the crowd and get the crowd heated up and really steal the show at some point. So that's the first category. The second category is which of the matches are going to stand out above the rest and be one of the most memorable. And then lastly, who is going to surprise either me or the fans and give us something that will change a bit of our preconceptions of them or change how we think about them. And then a little extra thing at the end. So the MVP for Stardom American Dream, there are so many people that could end up taking this title. I'm going with May Sarah. She's got just an incredible amount of speed and agility and stamina that I think is going to have her kind of running circles around her two opponents and working them over, just completely bulldozing them in different ways and cycloning them. And I think that's going to really get the crowd going and really amplify the show. You're really going to see this rising temperature where the crowd's just not going to be able to deny what May Sarah is doing inside of that ring. So the match overall, I'm going to take the 6-woman tag match, specifically the one involving Azumi, Saya, and Cameron, and their opponents Stephanie Vaquer, Momo, and Starlight Kid. I think there's just going to be so many showdowns and face-offs happening in that match, and there's so many fan favorites, hopefully, that match should give us a lot to chew on. So picking that as the standout match, there are a lot of good options for that as well. And then lastly, who is going to either surprise or change my estimation of them? And this one's going to sound really ridiculous and odd, but I'm going to pick Shuri on this. And the reason I'm picking Shuri is that we've seen her do amazing things and be this presence in the ring, but I haven't seen it for myself inside of a venue. And I think there are going to be certain things going on with how loud her kicks sound and how much impact they have, how well she sells, how many intangibles she has just making her entrance and staring people down and stepping through those ropes. I think those things are going to give me these sort of nuanced, evolved opinions and appreciations of her. So for my MVP, going with May Sarah. For my standout match, going for the 6-woman tag match, which is basically Queen's Quest versus Oedo Tai with extra steps. And then going for Shuri to sort of remold or reform my assessment of her. And also, the reason I'm picking her as well is because she's got another match later in the same night. And just seeing how much she pours into the first battle before going into that second battle and doing the 90-minute meet and greet, I think I'm going to get so many different valuable takeaways from seeing so much of her in a single day. Lastly, I'm going to try something at American Dream. I'm going to try and get a number of chants going, and they're all going to be in the style of Seven Nation Army, which is a White Stripes song. And if you've seen the Zack Sabre Jr. chants, it's very much in that sort of vein. I'm going to try and get those started in the venue. So if you happen to hear that, or you happen to see that maybe it catches on and gets people to join in, you'll know who was responsible. All right, that's it. We're going to come back afterwards and we'll see if I feel like I was correct in any of these sort of guesses. And we'll reevaluate, and we'll decide what actually was the right answer after we see the show and get the truth. After the fact, this is my recap of Stardom American Dream 2024, but specifically just going over some of the predictions I had made and letting you know how just horribly off the mark they ended up being. So the show was so much fun, first of all, but let's talk about some of the things I thought were going to be the case and what I think afterwards actually was what happened. So first of all, I chose May Sarah as the MVP of the night, and that definitely was not true. She lost her title in the high-speed match to open the show, and she actually was the person who was pinned, taking the 3-count fall to Saki Kashima. So I can't really say in confidence that she was the MVP of the night, though she was extremely entertaining in both of the matches I saw her in. Now, moving on from that, we have the standout match, and I chose the Queen's Quest with extra people against Oedo Tai with extra people. And that was a really good match, but I'm going to shift over and say that after seeing the entire show, I'm going to have to give maybe a double award to both of the title matches that happened. Now, the reason I would cite the high-speed title match is because of the shocking nature of the finish, of the result. And I think what Stardom has done is it's set itself up for the future so that the next time it comes to America, the next time they come to America, people are not going to take for granted any title matches that are on the card. Now you can be of the opinion that major results can take place here in America, and people will go back to this high-speed match and use it as the example. Well, Saki Kashima won the title in America, so you never know what will happen. So that's why I would actually give it an extra sort of exclamation point in terms of describing it. But I'd also obviously have to talk about the red belt title match because of a couple of reasons. They really went for it. They did some pretty dangerous spots, to be honest, and I wouldn't be surprised if both of the wrestlers are a little bit banged up after having gone through that. It was actually pretty interesting that the crowd was divided in its cheering between Megan Bayne and Maika. So this was a match that didn't have a lot of strong building up. It didn't have a lot of strong promotion going into it. But the established history between the two wrestlers and the support that they had on either side of the aisle helped elevate this match, in addition to the just amazing displays of strength that both of the wrestlers showcased. All right, moving on from that, we have the biggest surprise, the wrestler who surprised me the most and changed some of my initial preconceptions about them. And I said it was going to be Shuri. It ended up being Mayu Iwatani. I've kind of been a little curious about Mayu's disposition. How would she be feeling going into this American sort of short tour? Would she be energized and positive and warm, or would she still be a little bit affected by Rossi's departure and her contractual obligations leading up to the promoting and the release of her biopic, her movie? And she was one of the most warm and positive and energetic people the entire week. She's really, really good at working the crowd, getting them amped up, interacting with them, engaging with people, engaging with individuals. And all of that stuff exceeded my expectations. And then her wrestling in person, inside of a venue, it's even better than when you see it on camera. She's faster and more accurate than I expected. And that's saying a hell of a lot, because watching her in any of these matches that we've seen, she's already extraordinary. But it's just that much more lightning quick and electric when you are there. So she would be my surprise wrestler who surprised me the most. I think that's I think I've made that pretty clear. Okay, so the last thing was I attempted twice, not once but twice, to get my Seven Nation Army style chants going. I think they pretty much fell on deaf ears. The first time I tried to get it going for Saya Kamitani, second time for Mayu herself. No dice. I don't think it really worked. But you can say that at least I've tried to innovate. I've tried to pioneer some new chants for the Stardom wrestlers. And if you do happen to hear a chant in this style, please do give credit to the first the first attempt. It may not have been successful, but there's always next time. All right, that's it. Tonight, I'm previewing the WrestleCon meet and greet for 6 different Stardom wrestlers. This is for the Friday event, the meet and greet that will involve Saya Kamitani, Azumi. It will also involve Shuri and Saki Kashima, and it will also involve Starlight Kid and Momo Watanabe. And what I'm going to do for this preview is pretty cut and dry. I'm going to pick my choice for who I think is going to be the nicest person at the meet and greet and who I think is going to be the funniest or goofiest person at the meet and greet. And this is a little bit of cheating because at the time of me recording this, I've actually already met Shuri. She had an additional autograph signing and photo taking session with fans. So, and she was extremely nice. So this is not so very fair. But for the purpose of this, for my preemptive choice for who I think is going to be the nicest, I'm actually going to go with Momo Watanabe. One thing, it's kind of against type with her character, and so she'll have an opportunity to be a different way. But also, this is her second time in America. We've just seen the live event, the live show, Stardom American Dream, and she was incredibly well received, just like she was in the previous visit. And I think she is going to take that positivity and it's going to kind of reflect back to the fans. For funniest Stardom wrestler at this particular meet and greet, I'm actually going to choose Starlight Kid. I've seen her actually make a number of people laugh in some of the, outside of the ring special events and shows and things. And something about her wearing the mask, I think it lets her exude something in her personality. It's almost freeing in a way. I've seen her make funny faces in her mask and do all kinds of sort of light, less serious activity. So for nicest, I'm going to predict that it's going to be Momo Watanabe, and for funniest, I'm predicting that it's going to be Starlight Kid, and we will see afterwards if I think I was right about that or not. We'll see if reality matches my preemptive guess. That's it. After the fact, this is my recap of day 1 of the meet and greets that involved the Stardom roster at WrestleCon. And I'm just going to review the 2 predictions I made and tell you how off the mark they were. The predictions were made prior to the meet and greet, and this is, of course, afterwards. So my predictions involved who I thought would be the nicest person to interact with and the funniest person to interact with. For the nicest person, I predicted Momo Watanabe. For the funniest person, I predicted Starlight Kid. And I think both of those awards were actually stolen in quite appropriate fashion by Saki Kashima, as she was so enjoyable and she interacted with absolutely everyone to the fullest. She brought her high-speed title along with her, let people touch it, posed with it along with her fans, and she was just very, very social and very affable, cracking jokes the whole time. She just absolutely is the comedian that you see in the ring or in promos. Her mind is constantly working to come up with something funny or some type of commentary, to find some kind of sort of gimmick or some kind of a prank to have happen. So I think she actually won the nicest and the funniest top prize, if we could even call it that. Though everyone has been so warm and so positive to meet, it's really been a pleasure. It's really been a special week and a special weekend. And I just can only hope that all of these wrestlers come back and even more show up next time Stardom makes their way onto American soil. So that's it.